Hey, greetings everyone. You know what? We are here to celebrate the fourth graders writing one last time. That's what we're going to do. And the best way to do that is sometimes to know how far you've gone, you'll look back. So they took a sample from the beginning of the year they're writing and then a sample at the end. And they're going to explain, hey, what did they learn? How did they grow? What does it look like? So here they are right now. Hey, here we have Connor. Man, your beginning of the year sample was awesome. Might have been the best one we had. Tell about your beginning of the year.
My beginning of the year, I didn't have any background, which now I do. But
Sure.
But
you did have a question hook. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then here's later in the year. What are you doing then instead?
I had tons more background and descriptive words.
Yeah. Do you want to read what you have?
The lonely brave Perseverance landed safely on Mars, while Red Slant blew away with the force and the unknown started to fade away. The adventurous rover started to take pictures of tracks, and 12 minutes later, NASA got them. Do you know what a rover is? Do you know what Mars is? Do you know what Perseverance is?
Cool. And then there's the rest of his essay. Wow, cool. But if you notice at the beginning, you give that background picture, don't you? It's just amazing. And then you head into your question hooks. It's beautiful. And the part that I loved the best on that was the lonely brave Perseverance landed safely on Mars while wet red sand blew with force. And here's the powerful part. And the unknown started to fade away, meaning we were
disappearing. And when he landed, he started to blow stuff away, and plus, the rover doesn't know anything.
But then he's going to learn, and so the unknown's going to fade away. Bravo, you have come so far in your writing. Beautiful.
And then my conclusion, I didn't have that at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And
awesome. Perfect. Hey, here we have Joseph, who has gone from 0 to 60 in no time. So tell us about your beginning of the year. It's right up here.
So I didn't have much at the beginning of the year.
No.
But at the end of the year, I have so much writing.
And look at the change in your spelling. So you probably said the girl learned to nature or something like that at the beginning. And then tell us what you're writing now.
So I have background and really good words.
Good. You want to read the part that you want to show us?
Zoom, whoosh, zigzag, up, down, the flying gigantic quadrilla is dispetent on the rough land.
Yeah, look at those adjectives.
Then you see a skeleton has the neck of a giraffe, but also has the beak of the size of a man. The wings wider than a jet plane, but this was some sparrow. Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's quadrilla.
And so you had the background at the beginning, and then you had the question hook, and then you had the whole thing telling about that bird dinosaur.
Yeah, and then I have my conclusion. Do you want
nice.
to read it?
Yeah, sure.
My conclusion is that differences are outstanding and some are dreadful.
You have come so far. Yahoo, Joseph.
Hi.
Hey, here we have Ronnie, and if you can see right below his name, you see his beginning of your essay. What have you learned since then?
I learned that how all you have to do is just read and write.
Right. But look what he did in his writing on his next one. He says, 3, 2, 1, take off. Swish, the big rocket rushed through the air, entering blackness and stars in the sky. What were you doing there that you didn't do in the first one?
To make it have a picture in your head.
Oh, no kidding. Exactly. Good for you. And then later he says, the Mars dust went in through the air. The stray, lonely, colossal Perseverance faded away, or I'm not sure what that was, but yahoo. Beautiful. Awesome. Way to go, Ronnie. Hey, here we have Emily, and there's your essay at the beginning of the year. That wasn't bad. But what are you doing now that you weren't doing then? Because up there you just started telling about the girl in the story that we had read.
I didn't put hooks or background.
Yes, you didn't. And then look at this one. Tell us about that.
So here I actually do have
Sure, you want to read the part that shows that?
You're in your rocket, ready to blast off. 3, 2, 1. Ah! You start screaming, and then after a few minutes, it stops and you breathe. You look out the window and you see Mars. Then you say, "Whoa, that's Mars. It looks better in person."
Yeah, and then comes your
Hooks.
your hooks, your question hooks. Do you think that it's possible to live on Mars? Have you ever been to Mars? Are you a scientist who can look at rocks from Mars? And then you go on with the rest of your essay. Bravo, beautiful. And so those question hooks, they're like the main idea sentence, but in the form of a question, so the reader wants to read them. Yahoo, Emily, look at that. Hey, here we have Anthony, master writer, and look at his essay at the beginning of the year. Notice you just start talking, don't you? You don't have a hook, you don't have background, you don't have too much evidence, but then Shazam, look, what's so cool about this one?
I have a background and a hook.
Yeah.
And a lot more evidence.
Yeah. Like he starts out, buzz, the itsy bitsy fly buzzes. He smells a very admirable scent. I love that adjective. He immediately buzzed to the scent and oops, he ran into a very dangerous plant's mouth. At the same time, on the same day, on the other side of the earth, a mini baby Gila woodpecker chirped, chirp, chirp, chirp. The gigantic predators came and they got poked. They leave and no more predators. And then, because we were reading two articles, weren't they? Like, which was cooler, the plants that were carnivorous and the animals? So his hooks are, tell us what your hooks are.
Have you ever seen a carnivorous plant? Have you ever been taken care of well?
Yeah, which was the animal one, right? So beautiful. And then follows is all of his evidence. Beautiful evidence. Oh my gosh. Oh no, look at the beautiful change you've made this year. Bravo, Anthony.
Y'all on a beater.
Yahoo. Hey, here we have Zachary, who joined us a little later in the year. Yep, there he is. And his writing, I remember, started out plain, but oh my gosh, he listened and he worked, and he listened and he worked. And pretty soon your essays were looking like that. Do you want to read this part of it?
Indescribable noises were coming from the wild. The unknown noises was leading to a big dark cold tunnel. Big blue glowing eyes were lighting up the darkness. Arctic foxes were spotted, starving and struggling for survival.
What a picture of what you're going to be writing about. And then comes your big hook questions.
I know, right?
Yeah, have you ever seen an Arctic fox? Have you ever struggled for survival? And then he tells about all the animals that were in that essay. And actually, kids were reading two articles. They did quite a feat. And there you have your summary at the end, your conclusion. Wow, you have come so far, Zachary. Way to go. Thank you, sir. And this was her writing at the beginning of the year. What didn't you have then?
I didn't have hooks or background.
Yeah, hooks or background. Here's her writing later. Tell us about that.
So this one I do have hooks and backgrounds.
Sure. And I love your hook questions, because this was all about that girl who wanted to be a doctor. Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to practice medical skills? And yeah, beautiful. And look at all of her evidence. Man, Yahoo to you. Right now, so here we go. So here we have Layla Louise, and this was your essay at the beginning of the year. You actually wrote quite a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, but it was only a little, and I didn't do any background.
Right.
And I just jumped to the story.
Just jumped right to the story. Yep, you're right. And then here, what did you do there?
I did background.
Yeah.
And I have
It was a lovely day outside with the wind blowing from side to side. One day there was a boy named Omer and his friends, and Dad's friends were looking for pearls. And then you have your good question hooks. You ever had real pearls? You ever had your lungs hurt so bad? Because both of those things were part of it, weren't they?
Yep.
Yep. And then comes all of her evidence. Nice. And you end it with, and then it was goodness. Way to go, Layla. Yahoo. Carolina, look at your essay at the beginning of the year. Isn't that just something? Wow. Look at you. How have you changed it? Look down below. Wow. So you were writing about the Mars rover, weren't you?
At first I had like no writing, no hug, no
Yeah,
background,
yeah.
and then I now have
Look at that.
hooks and background.
Look at the difference from that to this. The space rover lands on the dry, dusty, cold, red planet. Look at those adjectives. The rover takes hundreds of pictures on Mars and sends them back to Earth. Then comes your beautiful hook questions. You want to read those?
Have you ever heard of a space rover? Do you know what a space rover is? Do you like Mars? Do you
Wow.
like Mars? Might be living for
Beautiful. Followed by tons of evidence. Oh my gosh. Carolina. And you end with that good question. Is Mars your favorite planet? Do you think the space rover was a good idea? Oh, bravo. Beautiful. Amazing. Carolina, that's just awesome. So here we have Ashley. Look at your writing at the beginning of the year. You have 2 lines is your whole essay, isn't it? Yes. And how did you change it to start writing more? Here's later in the year.
I started to like just not copy from the story and
Yeah.
just put in my own words.
Yeah.
And I started to do background and hooks.
No
And
kidding.
in the beginning I didn't do hooks.
No. And it takes understanding what you read too to write, doesn't it? It really does. And so which one were you doing there? Oh, it was the Martin Luther King Jr. one. Okay, cool. You wake up in a big house and you're about to get ready to make an announcement for everyone outside that's waiting for you. Wow. Finally, while you're saying the announcement, everybody that's hearing you start clapping. And then she said, have you ever been a king or a queen? Do you know who Martin Luther King Jr. is? Have you ever heard of Ruby Bridges before? Yeah, because this was the double article about those two. And then look at all your awesome evidence. Man, sweet. Way to go, Ashley. Your beginning of the year one doesn't look too bad, but what's not in your beginning of the year one?
There's not background in her.
No, you just start writing because at the beginning of the story, it seems to sound like, yep, cool. And then you did Rabbit Day at Carrot Beach. Look at your good hook at the beginning. It was a sunny day and you wake up and think it's a very sunny day and I should go to the beach. And you say, and you and your bestie decide to go. And then you have your good hook questions. And you explain all about it. And the question was, why did sunshine have so much to do with that story?
Because it was just everything.
Yeah. Sweet. Look at that. Look at you. Hey, this is pretty exciting. Here we have Dalian. You went from 0 to 62. And so there was your essay at the top. What don't you do in the top one that you do now?
I don't have any background or hooks.
No. And then look at this essay down here. Which article was that? It was
Tell me what the carnivores.
Oh, carnivores versus plants. Yeah, neat. And he starts out, it was a soggy day in the forest when Buzz the fly zoomed through the air, smelling the sweet scent, thinking it was nectar when it landed on the deadly plant. Until Snap the fly had been eaten by the dangerous plant. Then he says, on the other side of the world, he tells about the animals. And then look at all of his evidence all the way through. Wow. Conclusion. Wow. Bravo. Good for you, Dalian. Amazing. Here we've got Malachi. Look at his brief little tiny writing at the beginning of the year. Remember, you were the boy that didn't like to write, remember?
Yeah.
And little by little, bit by bit, you wrote more and more and more. Here you have an essay with question hooks at the beginning. And you have your evidence. Look at you. Isn't that cool? Nice job, Malachi. Awesome. But you dove right into it, like you said. I think that the reason why tomorrow was, and you just start telling it, but then later you were doing the Arctic animal ones, and you say, have you ever found a fox? Snatch, chomp. The white and unseen fox devours its prey for its stomach. The satisfied, I love those adjectives, fox comes back from its blizzard and snowy experiments. Wow, listen to that. The fox goes into the warm and spacious tunnels to rest its head. And then you go on to tell about the other animals. Way to go, Valencia. And look at your one-sentence essay at the beginning of the year. Isn't that neat? Yes. And look how far you've come. You were writing about that boy that was doing his airplane trip. Have you ever been on the airplane or something that flies and something that's metal that can fly, goes through the air? And then you tell about that boy named Kurt. Nice. Way to go, Kingston. So how did that growth happen? Well, I wish it just happened magically, but nothing's quite that easy. So if you look at our Google screen, it shows all of the assignments that we've done this year. And each one of these is an essay that we wrote. And so students would read, and then they would write an essay, and then we would keep giving skills in writing that they can use. And we would put them on the screen through Google Classroom, and people would beg to have their writing go on the screen, and we'd celebrate what good writers do. So through all that celebration all year long and writing all of these essays, each one of these is an essay. We pretty much would do an essay every day. Rigorous, intense, celebration, learning, pushing. And so all of these are essays. Look at the dozens of essays the students wrote this year. And it was married with the reading too. You have to read well to be able to write well. And so it all fits together. Look at all the essays that the students did this year. And that's what helped us climb the mountain to be the writers that we are today. Yahoo, fourth grade. You're amazing.